When I was very young, I would write what I call my stories on tiny slips of paper and fold them very, very small and put them in jars and bury them in my grandmother's yard. At about 13, I decided I should dig them up. And of course, I didn't understand gravity, and I didn't understand that, the ground shifts and I couldn't find them. But I like to think that there are my little stories that I made up at that age floating around sort of underneath the surface of the ground that raised me, that still holds me up as a human being. I write using pens in journals. I especially appreciate the biology of objects and the connectedness of my physical hand, the physicality of the part of me that's empowering that pen to capture my thoughts. I don't think the writer or the artist is ever not engaged in a creative process. Even when I'm preparing a meal, I'm thinking about a poem, or there's a poem that's showing up in the bottom of the bowl, or in the core of an apple. So poetry is this living substance for me that's always present. So I compose poetry pretty much by hand, and then I use my computer for editing. But I also use my cell phone a lot. I do a lot of note-taking and creating of poems inside of my cell phone. I'm very grateful, I'm very humbled, and I'm very honored to be the Poet Laureate. I especially feel esteemed to be the ambassador or the carrier of the message into communities where literacy and the literary arts are not necessarily very visible. I'm happy to be able to go into those tiny little towns and villages and help people think about what it means to have voice and what it means to give their own stories voice and to bring those to life.